Your phone buzzes at 2:47 a.m. You don't want to look. You already know what it says, but you look anyway. Account balance, $14.82. Rent is $1,200, due in 4 days. Your fridge has eggs, a half-empty bottle of ketchup, and a dream you haven't killed yet. You put the phone face down on the mattress, the one on the floor because the bed frame broke 2 months ago and replacing it never made the priority list. The ceiling is dark. The room is quiet. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a thought surfaces that you can't shake. There has to be another way. There is, but it won't look anything like what you imagined. This is your life, every level, from nothing to untouchable. Level 1, survival. Net worth below zero. Mindset, scarcity. You are not poor because of bad luck. You are poor because of what you believe money is. At this level, money is something that happens to you. It arrives when someone pays you. It disappears before you understand where it went. You trade time for dollars, and the dollars never seem to be enough, and you tell yourself that's just how life works for people like you. You make $2,400 a month working a job you didn't choose. After rent, utilities, food, and the minimum payment on a credit card with a $3,000 balance you barely remember building, you have maybe $180 left, sometimes less. You spend that $180 on things that make the week feel lighter. A night out, a new shirt, something that signals to the world, and to yourself, that you're okay, that you're not drowning. But you are. The real problem isn't the money. The real problem is the story. The story you were told, that money is hard to get, that rich people are lucky or crooked, that wanting more is greedy. That story is costing you everything. Every financial decision you make is filtered through it. You avoid the stock market because it feels like gambling. You avoid starting a business because it feels like risk. You avoid learning about money because money was never something people in your world talked about. So you work, and you spend, and you survive, and every month resets to zero. This is where most people stay their entire lives. Not because they aren't smart, because they never question the story. But something is about to change, and it starts not with money, but with a single moment of rage. Level 2, awakening. Income, $2,400 to $4,000 per month. Mindset, awareness. It happens on a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic. No cinematic moment. Your manager gives the promotion you've been working toward for 11 months to someone who's been there for 3. Someone whose uncle plays golf with the regional director. You smile. You say congratulations. You go back to your desk, and something quietly breaks inside you. Not in a painful way, in a useful way. You drive home and you sit in your car in the parking lot of your apartment complex and you think, for the first time, clearly, without excuses, I cannot build a life inside someone else's system. That night you open a laptop and you search 2 words, make money. The internet is a chaos of noise. Drop shipping, crypto, forex, day trading, influencer, affiliate marketing, get rich in 30 days. You've seen it before and dismissed it. Tonight, you filter differently. You're not looking for shortcuts. You're looking for skills. You find a YouTube channel that teaches copywriting. A guy in a plain room. No Lamborghini, no mansion, just a guy explaining how words create money. How every product sold online needs someone to write it. How companies pay $500, $2,000, $5,000 for a single sales page. You watch for 4 hours. Then you start practicing. You don't make money yet. You're not supposed to. Level 2 isn't about income. It's about reprogramming. You're unlearning the idea that money requires a boss. You're installing a new belief. Skill creates value, value creates money, and money can be directed. 3 months in, you land your first client, a small e-commerce brand. They pay you $300 for an email sequence. It's not life-changing money, but it's the most important $300 you've ever made. Because you made it without a manager, without a clock, without permission. You don't understand what just happened yet, but the rules of your world just changed, and there's no going back. Level 3, first traction. Income, $4,000 to $8,000 per month. Mindset, momentum. 6 months later, you're making $4,200 a month. Not from the job, though you still have it for now, from clients. 4 of them. Small businesses that need emails, landing pages, ad copy. You work mornings before your shift. You work nights after. You sleep less. You complain about it to no one because this is the first time your effort has ever felt like it's building something. You quit the job on a Wednesday afternoon. No speech, no dramatic exit. You give 2 weeks' notice, work them quietly. And on the last day, you shake your manager's hand and feel nothing except the strange calm of someone who just chose themselves. By month 9, you're at $6,800 a month. This is where the first psychological trap appears. Lifestyle creep. The money feels big because you've never had it before. You move into a nicer apartment, $400 more a month. You buy a car with a payment, $380 a month. You eat at restaurants 4 times a week. You buy equipment you don't need. You start to feel like you've arrived. But the income isn't stable yet. 1 client leaves, 2 go quiet in December. January hits and you make $3,100, and the new apartment suddenly feels tight. You learn something that people who inherit wealth already know. Income is not wealth. Income can disappear tomorrow. Wealth is what survives when income stops. You get lean again, fast. You cut the restaurant habit, you pause the subscriptions, you rebuild with focus, and this time you build systems, templates, retainer clients, referral pipelines. You stop selling your time and start selling results. By month 14, you're consistently at $7,500 a month. And for the first time, you have $10,000 sitting in a savings account doing nothing. That $10,000 is not savings. It is your first weapon. And level 4 is where you learn how to use it. Level 4, systems. Income, $8,000 to $20,000 per month. Mindset, leverage. You are working less than you were 2 years ago and making more. This is the thing no one tells you about money. The goal is never to work harder. The goal is to build systems that work without you, to package your skill into something that scales, to go from service provider to operator. You raise your prices dramatically. The clients who truly value the results stay. The ones who are shopping for cheap leave. Your client count drops from 9 to 4, and your monthly income goes from $7,500 to $11,200. You do the same work, for fewer people, for more money. You study leverage obsessively. You read about how money really flows, not from labor, but from ownership. You read about the difference between assets and expenses. You invest the $10,000, conservatively, index funds. You're not trying to get rich fast. You're trying to understand how money multiplies. At month 22, something shifts. You launch a course. Everything you know about copywriting, condensed into a structured program. You price it at $497. You run a small launch to your email list of 1,200 people. 43 people buy. $21,371 in 4 days. You stare at the number in your Stripe account like it's in a foreign language. You didn't trade a single hour of time for that money. People bought it while you slept, while you worked out, while you had lunch. This is leverage. And now that you've felt it, you cannot unfeel it. By the end of that year, you're averaging $18,000 a month. You have $47,000 invested. You have no debt. You have a one-person operation that runs primarily on systems, content, and reputation. But level 4 has a ceiling, and you're beginning to feel it. The next level requires something most people are too proud to do. You'll have to ask for help. Level 5, scaling. Income, $20,000 to $80,000 per month. Mindset, multiplication. You hire your first person, a part-time editor, $1,200 a month. It feels wrong, paying someone else from your money. Your survival level brain screams that it's a waste. But your level 4 brain understands. Their $1,200 buys back 15 hours a week. 15 hours you can pour into growth. Then you hire a client manager, then a second copywriter who can take overflow work, then a media buyer who can run paid ads to your course. Within 8 months, your operation has 3 full-time contractors and a revenue model that would have seemed fictional 3 years ago. Monthly revenue hits $54,000, then $61,000. Then, in a month where everything works, ad campaigns convert, a launch goes viral, 3 high-ticket clients sign the same week, $84,000. You lose $22,000 in one bad quarter. A product launch that misses. A media buyer who burns your ad budget on untested creative. 2 clients who don't renew. You don't panic. This surprises you. The old version of you, level 1 you, would have collapsed, would have called it a sign, would have pulled back and played safe. But you have context now. You understand that loss is not failure. Loss is tuition. And $22,000 in tuition for the lessons that quarter taught you is, by any objective measure, cheap. You rebuild, faster this time, because you have something level 1 you never had. Proof. Proof that you've built it before. Proof that the systems work. Proof that the setback is temporary and the trajectory is not. By year 4 of this journey, your business is generating $70,000 a month on average. You have $380,000 invested across index funds and a small real estate position. Your net worth crosses $500,000. The first $500,000 feels silent. No announcement, no celebration, just a number on a screen. But level 6 is where the world starts to notice you, and being noticed changes the game entirely. Level 6, authority. Net worth, $500,000 to $2 million. Mindset, influence. You are no longer selling, you are attracting. People reach out to you now, not because you advertise, but because your reputation arrived before you. Someone in a private group mentions your name. A podcast host quotes your content. A founder you've never met sends a message. I've been studying your work for 6 months. Would you be open to a conversation? You take the meeting. That meeting leads to a consulting arrangement at $15,000 a month. 1 client, 1 monthly call, and a shared Slack channel. No deliverables, just thinking. Just your pattern recognition, your strategic clarity, your hard-won understanding of systems that work. This is what authority monetizes as, access to your mind. You invest aggressively now, not frantically, with precision. You put $200,000 into an S&P index position. You purchase a second real estate property, a duplex, cash flowing $1,800 a month. You angel invest $25,000 into a startup founded by someone in your network. Small bet, long time horizon. You are building an asset base that generates money independent of your effort. Your lifestyle is comfortable, but not loud. You drive a good car. You live in a clean, modern apartment. You fly business class on long hauls because your time has a dollar value now, and cattle class costs you more in productivity than the upgrade costs in money. But something quietly strange is happening. The people you came up with, childhood friends, old colleagues, they feel distant. Not hostile, just distant. Their conversations are about things that no longer fill your mind. Their concerns are real, but you've moved past them, and the gap is widening, and there is a loneliness to that which nobody in any finance video will ever tell you about. Success at this level is mostly invisible, and invisible success comes with invisible weight. Level 7 is where that weight becomes structural. Level 7, elite wealth. Net worth, $2 million to $50 million. Mindset, ownership. You own things. Not just assets on a spreadsheet, real things. Equity stakes in 3 businesses, none of which you operate day to day. A real estate portfolio generating $14,000 a month in passive income. A content and education brand that your team runs. A personal investment portfolio north of $3.2 million. You work maybe 15 hours a week. Not because you're lazy, because the remaining hours are spent on decisions that can't be delegated. Capital allocation, strategic direction, talent assessment, thinking, real thinking, the kind that creates value at scale. You enter rooms you couldn't have imagined from your apartment with the mattress on the floor. Rooms where people discuss acquiring companies the way you once discussed apartment hunting. Where a $50 million deal is a Tuesday conversation. Where your opinion on a market shift moves real capital. You are respected, not liked, respected. There's a difference, and you understand it now. Likability is a social currency. Respect is an economic one. Respect means when you speak, people adjust their positions. Your morning routine is not glamorous. It is military in its precision. 5:30 a.m., no phone for the first hour. Journaling, exercise, strategic reading. You protect those 3 hours like they are the most expensive real estate you own, because they are. Every major decision you've ever made correctly came from a clear mind. The discipline isn't a habit anymore, it's identity. You lose $800,000 on a real estate deal gone sideways. You feel it. You're not numb to money, that's a myth, but it does not destabilize you. Because your position is diversified. Because your income continues. Because you have learned the hardest lesson of wealth at scale. You cannot control markets. You can only control your exposure. The money is no longer the point. The point is freedom, optionality, the ability to say no without consequence, to walk away from anything that costs you more than it pays you, including deals, relationships, and obligations. But level 7 still answers to something. Level 8 answers to nothing. Level 8, untouchable. Net worth, $50 million to $1 billion plus. Mindset, legacy. It is quiet at this level. Profoundly, almost uncomfortably quiet. Your net worth is north of $200 million. You stopped counting with precision 3 years ago. Not out of arrogance, but because the number has lost its psychological charge. When your portfolio moves $4 million in a single day, you feel it the way you once felt a $40 shift. Noted, processed, not felt in your chest. You have a family office now. 3 people whose only job is to manage your wealth, investments, tax structure, estate planning, philanthropy. You meet with them monthly. You trust them completely. Trust at this level is the most valuable asset you hold. You own equity in 11 companies. 2 are in negotiations for acquisition at valuations that would make the news if your name were public. But your name is not public. You made a choice years ago to build without visibility, to accumulate without announcement. You have no social media. You are in no Forbes list. The people who know what you're worth could fit in one room, and you chose every one of them. This is the thing they don't tell you about the top. The power is not in being seen. The power is in being invisible. You fund a school in a country you visited once and fell in love with. Not for the tax benefit, though there is one, but because you sat in that village and understood with crystalline clarity that the difference between you and the children there was not intelligence or character or capacity for greatness. It was information, access, the right idea at the right moment. You were lucky, and you know it. And that knowledge does not make you humble in a performative way. It makes you strategic about where you put your weight. Legacy is not a building with your name on it. Legacy is the systems that outlive you, the businesses that employ people when you're gone, the capital that compounds through generations, the knowledge you transfer to the 3 young people you mentor privately, not because it serves you, but because that's what the level above personal ambition looks like. The loneliness is real. You have a partner who understands more than most, but not everything. You have friends, real ones, a small number, but the texture of your concerns and theirs has grown so different that some conversations require translation. Not because you're better, because you're in a different climate now, and they are still where you started. You do not miss the poverty, but you sometimes miss the simplicity. The $14.82 nights had a certain clarity to them. The problem was clean. Solve the money problem. Now the problems are invisible, layered, and permanent. Power does not free you from pressure. It changes what pressures you. You're sitting in the back of a car on the way to a meeting. Window seat, city moving past. Your phone quiet because you trained everyone around you to protect your thinking time. And you see him, standing at a bus stop, young, maybe 22, hoodie, earbuds in, looking at his phone with a particular expression of someone doing math in their head that isn't adding up. You don't know his account balance, but you remember yours. $14.82. He's thinking about rent, about a job he didn't choose, about a ceiling that feels fixed. He doesn't know yet that the ceiling isn't structural, it's informational. He hasn't had the moment of rage yet, the Tuesday that breaks something useful in him, the night he finds the right idea at the right hour. He thinks he understands money, the way you used to think you did. He doesn't, but he will. The car moves on, the city continues, and somewhere on a mattress on a floor at 2:47 in the morning, a phone buzzes. Account balance, $14.82. And a thought surfaces that won't let go. There has to be another way. There is. It just starts here. Every level is waiting. The only question is how long you stay at the one you're on.